Into you are at the forefront of this new movement in vintage. The t-shirt market is crazy. You've always been pushing, you've always been creative. You have your show Stash Raiders, which you had me on, which I'm thankful for that. That was such a blast to do that episode with you. If you haven't watched that episode, go watch it, and go watch all the other episodes. But now is the virtual Flea, the new movement that has gone crazy. And I've told you this. I've sent you messages, and I was on the first one that you did. But I can imagine it's morphed so much from that original virtual Flea that you did, because now you're 3 months in. So take us through the virtual Flea a little bit, and how you came up with that idea, and like how it's morphed into what it is now.
Man, virtual Flea. Dude, I love the virtual Flea. It's so much fun. So basically, beginning of the COVID hit, all the flea markets canceled. Flea market is a big part of my income, and now I don't have that anymore. So I'm shitting bricks. What am I gonna do? Well, first thing you got to do is set up a website. Something I've been planning to do, but I just haven't done it because, I'm so busy with everything that I do, flea market included, especially. So I start the website up. I don't even that was so stressful figuring out all those buttons, on top of wondering if that's even going to work.
Yeah.
Because it was a scary time right when the COVID lockdown hit. So I started the website, set it up, throw a bunch of stuff on there. And the turnout for that was way more than what I expected. And I remember feeling so blessed. I still feel really blessed. And so, it went from what's going to happen. I just moved into a new house. How am I going to take care of my family, because my girl doesn't work, and just all these worries. And in one night, I'm just like, I got this. I got this. And that was crazy. And now I'm at a point where I don't even have to go back to Flea when things open up. I'm not even, yeah, it was scary, man. It was really scary. But ever since I started doing this full time, there's been a lot. I feel like when you become your own boss, or you have your own business, you have those moments all the time. So there was that in the back of my mind too, where it was just I don't know how, but you're going to figure it out. So I started the website, that worked out. And I just was so thankful. I remember I prayed and I was just thankful for that. I just gave, thanks to God and everything. And I was I just wanted to pass that on. I wanted to pass that on because I know there's other people going through the same thing. Not everybody, I'm sure there's collectors that, they live at home with their parents and don't have to worry about rent. But there's other people who do this full time and maybe are not at the stage that I'm at, are just starting or halfway through the journey, at a halfway point compared to where I was, at the time, where I'm at now. So I was like, man, that's a shitty feeling. So let me do something where I can I want to do something to pay this forward. I want to hook somebody up. So I'm going to shout somebody out. So I started going on my Instagram, first person that comes up on my feed, I'm going to shout them out. And I was like, no, that's not the right way to do it. I just wasn't, I was like, well, okay, well, how about if I put everybody on my story in my bio link and I just say, these are my favorite vendors. Everybody go look at my favorite vendors. I have my top 10 favorite vendors. They're in my bio right now. And I was like, well, that would be kind of biased because then I'm only helping out people that are my friends, right? I'm not helping out people maybe who really need this. And that's when I came with Virtual Flea. I was like, you know what? Who needs help right now? I'm starting something called Virtual Flea. And people were asking me, what's it about? And I didn't even know. I was just like, well, you'll be listed in my bio link. And on Saturday, I'll just say it's Virtual Flea. Go shop those people in my bio link. You know what? I'll even go live with you. I'll go live with you and you can use my platform, my followers and views or whatever to sell your stuff. And I made it an option. The first Virtual Flea, some people didn't go live. They were just sitting on the bio link. After that, though, everyone goes live. But we did that first Virtual Flea and dude, people made dough. Were you on the first one?
I think it was the first one. It might've been the second one. It's hard for you to remember.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that was sick. I remember going live. I remember it was a good day. I sold a bunch of stuff. I hadn't relaunched Frank, so I was doing story sales and, again, just kind of in that weird mindset of let's just sell as much as we can before the world is going to end or whatever is going to happen, or who knows, it was so new. And Yeah, I mean, honestly, now it's all people talk about, dude. You've made this thing, and I'm in Canada, man. And I talked to a lot of Canadian sellers. You know, I had people hitting me that first month. Yo, do you see what Chris is doing? 1980 something co virtual flea. It's crazy. And then I've had friends who are on it. I don't know if well, you probably heard, but I had a group going through COVID. So, and I appreciate what you said about giving back. I think that's very it speaks to your personality, and I know that about you because you're always doing that. I posted something recently, a quote: "If you want it, give it." And that is exactly in line with what you're talking about because it's, you know, you have that success and you're giving it to other people and it feeds this like energy flow, and I mean, I know I
I
do it
think
because it makes
people
me
are gonna
feel good.
think
I'm
that
sure it does for you.
I think people are gonna think that's crazy. Like if you need it, give it. Like that sounds crazy, right? Like, well, how am I gonna give it if I need it, right? But like, and it's this weird thing where just like kind of like when you learn to ride a bike, like, all right, if you're learning to ride a bike, you take your training wheels off. All right, how can I get my balance? We'll go really fast, and it's like, well, I'm not gonna go fast. I don't have balance. Well, if you go fast, you don't need to have balance. You're just going.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'll work.
Yeah. So it's just like it's one of those things that doesn't make sense, but you got to just go full throttle. So it's like um, helping people has been something that I was always afraid of in the beginning. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like it's competitive, it's business, and I was just like, you know, I can't remember the specific situation, but I just know like I feel like that's a general thing. Like if you're trying to come up, don't shed light on other people because then that's gonna take away light from you, type of thing, maybe. Um, but I always wanted to be cool with everyone. I've always wanted to like show love to everyone because I worked shitty jobs up until I was doing this full time, which was probably like 3 years ago. And now I'm out here doing what I love, and I'm having a great time. And I wear cool shirts, and I sell cool shirts. And there's a lot of cool people that do the same thing. And I like everyone in the community. Like you guys rock. And before I used to deal with really shitty people and all the jobs that I used to have. So I always wanted to just be cool with everyone. But again, business, we have to be competitive. But I found out that I realized that like if you just show love to people, it doesn't hurt you at all.
No.
Especially in a community right now that although it may be everything to you if you do this full time, um, we're still very young and we still have a lot more growing to do as a community. Like vintage, vintage influence on the world is like 1% right now. Like
Yeah.
it's not a
Yeah.
mainstream thing.
It's very close-minded to go with that old school methodology of thinking where if you help someone else, it's going to take part of your market share.
Mhm.
It's, they say vintage or the secondhand business right now is, I forget the numbers, but it's like by 2025 it's going to some ridiculous amount of billion-dollar business, and you're like, we haven't even touched this market, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you're not taking and we're stronger as a community. People move into my neighborhood, vintage stores come into my neighborhood where F is and Frank is, and my dad's always like, oh fuck, competition, you got to get smoke them out of the water. And I'm like, nah, this is good. It brings more people to my hood that are going to do the rounds and shop. If I'm going to go shop vintage, I'm going to go to a neighborhood where I can hit 5 stores versus 1 store.
Mhm.
It's better together, and it's, like I said, it's the energy flow, and it makes you feel good. And we all get to hang out together this way. It's way more fun.
Yeah, take it from me. I have my 1980 something co. where I do a virtual flea, where I literally bring people onto my platform, put them in front of me. Like you're my viewer, you're looking at me. I put another vendor in front of me, have them sell their stuff to you, and it hasn't hurt me. On top of that, I have the Vintage Awards Instagram where I repost other people's finds from all around the community. I'm just showing love and bigging other people up. I've never featured myself on there. I do other people. And in spite of like all these other people that I put in front of me, I'm still doing good. And that's because we're selling vintage, right? So vintage is not like you could do a better product. Like you can never have a better product than me as a thrifter. Or maybe you can, but it depends on the customer. Because
And
vintage is
yeah,
so
you might have a better come up, but then you'll have the next come up, and so on and so forth.
like you cannot monopolize the game. Like the other day, Round Two Vintage, they had their website drop on the exact day and the exact time as I do my website drops. I do them every Friday at noon. And you know, I was living very comfortably, and I was like, cool, like this is cool. Like I'll drop every Friday, and then website dropped this Friday at noon, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm probably gonna starve that day. I sold the most on that day. I sold the most on that day, which it blew my mind. I was really nervous that day, and I sold the most on that day. And I don't know what that means. I don't know. It definitely doesn't mean that I have better stuff, because round two is like, you know, they're crazy. They
They're
have stuff.
dropping 300 to 500 tees every time.
Yes, but it just goes to show you how small the vintage community is, and how like uh, as far as like how much money there is that people have to spend on vintage. We're not meeting the demand. There could be 5 people dropping their website drops on that same day, and we're all gonna eat.
Yeah,
That's why
100.
that's why shirts are selling for $800, $1,200. We just sold one on virtual Flea this past weekend for the record breaker of 2,400. And then when another shirt sold for 3K, not on auction, but just sold, uh, that was the price tag on it. Like, there's just not enough to meet the demand. That's what that tells me. That doesn't tell me that these shirts well, I mean, they are rare, but it also shows that people want to get their hands on vintage. They want to get their hands on the unique piece, and they can't buy 50 pieces for $3,000, so they're going to buy one piece for $3,000. Like, the money's out there. Vintage community.
Totally. And yeah, these pieces are rare, but also the market who is wanting them is growing fast. I think it's got to be the fastest growing market. People are more into the style. They're more into sustainability. They're more into having something that nobody else has.
Yeah. That's why you
So
see 2000s things blown up. 2008, I sold Dark Knight, The Dark Knight, right? That movie came out in 2008. I sold a Dark Knight shirt the other day for $800. That's why
nice.
like people are looking for the value in everything right now in the vintage community, and that's how young we are. That's how small we are. So don't be afraid to shout your boy out, because you'll look like the G for doing that, you know, and you'll make someone's day. That's actually the most important thing, is that you'll make someone's day.
Yeah. It makes you feel good, and it comes back to you in the form of energy. It's like, I believe that. And that's why it makes you feel good. So let's talk about this. You broke records, man. You took your shirt off. You went ape shit on the live. I seen that part, and I was stoked. By the way, you're looking good. I don't know if you've been working out, but looking good, man.
Long time. I used to have abs. That's like the what's left over.
um,
Got me busy.
so talk about breaking some goddamn records, man. Like, so you broke the record for 400. So that's a big day on the virtual Flea. And on auction, live auction, what was it? 20? How much did it sell for?
It sold for 2,400.